Wow. For those of you who celebrate today, as we film, is Royal Rumble Day.
So I hope you had a wonderful Royal Rumble weekend, because Lord knows we need it.
We need it. So obviously, Royal Rumble is in 2.5 hours.
At the time of this recording.
So we don't know who won. We don't know what surprises happened.
Isn't this fucking weird? Like, right now, we don't know who won, but by the time people hear the words that we are saying right now, we will know.
Time. So I think we can give our brief predictions.
We're gonna assume this is what happened.
Okay.
So in the women's rumble, it was down to Trish Stratus, Charlotte Flair, and Io Sky.
Right.
And when, as the queen, Charlotte was trying her best to get rid of my other queen, Trish. Thank you, Trish. Io Sky drop kicks them both out of the ring.
Yeah.
Or does that cool like uppercut thing she does.
Yeah.
Out of the ring. Io Sky wins the women's rumble.
I would love that. I also think during the women's rumble, Jade Cargill will return and we'll finally have an answer to who beat up Jade Cargill and threw her onto that car.
On the Cargill. And then for the men's rumble, we have our final four. We have CM Punk, John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre.
And they're going to put on a banger, like 10-minute spot at the end of a 2-hour Royal Rumble.
With just the four of them. And then every time one of them gets eliminated, we get another 10-minute like match until we have one-on-one 30 minutes between John Cena, CM Punk, and then CM Punk throws John Cena over the top rope, wins. We hear right after Cult of Personality plays, it stops and we hear, if you smell. The Rock comes in at number 31.
He can make the rules. He is the boss.
He's the final boss.
And he's definitely the final boss of this match.
And then it's Dwayne. If Dwayne The Rock Johnson has any mission in WWE, it's to ensure that CM Punk does not see a fucking WrestleMania main event.
Not under his watch.
Remember, that's part of the pipe bomb that CM Punk did was, it makes me sick that Dwayne's headlining WrestleMania and I'm not.
I didn't realize that was part of it.
Oh yeah.
Wow, this is long-standing beef. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if that last bit's happening, but
definitely. Hey, it won't.
It won't, but or it wouldn't. Maybe it didn't. I guess by the time you hear this. But CM Punk, if you won CM Punk, I called it, and congratulations. If you didn't
win, I called it, and congrats to John Cena, or Roman Reigns.
You got a big mouth. You know who else is with? Oh my God, we didn't even
talk about Santino.
Santino, he's in TNA.
He's TNA, and he recently did a spot with his daughter.
Yeah, because she's the what do you call it? The liaison of NXT to TNA. So
I didn't know that.
Because you know how she's like the pageant queen.
Yeah.
So she's Miss NXT TNA.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, so maybe we got to see Santino, and maybe Santino beats his own quickest record.
Maybe Kane. Corporate Kane.
Oh no!
Is in the Rumble.
The worst of all the Kanes.
And Santino gets him out in under a second.
Oh, payback.
Retribution.
Vindication. Anyway, we're sure that Royal Rumble was fantastic.
Absolutely.
And we'll find out in 2.5 hours.
Here's to you.
Oh, also, real quick, it's been a while since we did a Ringside, and in between our last one and this one, JD McDonough,
oh my God,
sustained a crazy injury live on Monday Night Raw.
Completed a match.
He broke a rib and punctured his lung and continued the match. And he was being like thrown around. That is insane.
Yeah.
Good for JD McDonough. I mean, we already kind of knew he was like not underappreciated, but like
maybe undervalued.
Maybe a little bit. Like, I think we knew he was a workhorse.
Yeah.
But it's never been tested as much as
We've never
Monday.
seen it like that. Like,
right. Like, it shouldn't be. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not good when they get injured. But, like, that sets you into, like, another echelon of wrestlers when you can face something like that.
Right.
And you just keep going.
Right.
Crazy. Peace and blessings to you.
Shout outs to him. Hope he heals up well and is back sooner rather than later.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm also assuming very excited for that it's Rumble season, favorite time, one of the favorite times of the year for WWE. So hopefully what we said happened. And if it didn't, hey, what are you going to do?
There's always next year.
It's a podcast, not a time capsule.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome. We didn't even fucking say anything. Hey guys, my name's John.
I'm Kendra.
And welcome to another edition of Ringside.
How did we forget that?
Listen, we got caught up in what we were doing.
We also did stream pre-preview earlier, which is on YouTube now if you want to watch our pre-preview for Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So I feel like we already were in the groove of it.
Yeah, we already did like introductions
didn't think to introduce it. Anyway, yeah, that's us.
So, yeah, welcome back to another episode. And we got just a few things to talk about. I just want to hang out for a little bit on this Rumble weekend. So what's first on the docket?
Well, we had a previously very anticipated Marvel
new Disney Plus series.
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It debuted with its 2-episode premiere on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But before that,
like literally
like a day or two before that, Collider reported that during an interview that they had with Peter Parker's voice actor, Hudson Thames, is it like the river? I don't know. Hudson stated, quote, "My biggest fear was that it was going to be annoying and woke. And it wasn't. And I was like, yes, this is great. It's so well written. Like, it feels real. I'm the oldest of 5 boys, so I feel like I kind of know what's happening in their lives and in high school. And it felt like it was doing that justice." So obviously, when you come into a space like comic book Marvel, specifically Spider-Man, and you say something like, my biggest fear was that it was going to be annoying and woke. That's not good.
No, and I know there's another quote here that you have from the showrunner that I want to get to before we get too deep in our thoughts, but like, I want to commend the team at Collider for putting in their publication. Like, woke is very much the way it's used, especially in like fandom spaces and also in politics now. It's very much a dog whistle to point out the existence of anyone that's not a straight white man.
Straight white cis het man.
Yes, thank you. So black, brown, gay, trans, literally a woman, anyone who's
any woman.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is the context that
when they use it in this way,
right.
I should say.
That's not the context that this word was initially supposed to. It was bastardized by some extremists. So it's really unfortunate, and it was really unfortunate for a lot of people. There was a lot of very strong opinions on social media right afterwards.
Right.
People who felt so connected to specifically this character, kind of feeling betrayed. Yeah. Kind of feeling betrayed by that statement.
Yeah.
And you actually mentioned, because if I hear an adult person say annoying and woke, I'm going to assume that they mean that negatively.
Right.
In the context that we discussed it, like as this dog whistle. You mentioned maybe that's not what he actually meant to say.
Right.
And he just phrased it very incorrectly.
So, do you mind if I read this? So the showrunner, Jeff Trammell, stated in a Reddit Ask Me Anything AMA, "I love Hudson, and I didn't focus too much on what he said. I believe he simply misspoke, and I know that's been weighing on him. I think we made a fantastic show, and that is going to appeal to a wide audience and hopefully captures what I love about this Spider-Man, that he's a guy who cares deeply about the people around him and always tries to do the right thing." Now, fundamentally, yes, that is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? That is what he's supposed to be. So my initial thought, like as soon as you told me about it, first, it's like, of all the characters you could complain about being quote unquote woke,
Spider-Man's a bad example.
I'm like, I made all these same points on TikTok. Like, grew up with a single mother in New York City, in Queens, of all places. Like, Peter Parker, humble beginnings, highly educated. That Peter Parker? But, okay, so I'm aware that especially in the 2010s, in the later half of the 2010s, going into the early 2020s, there was a lot, I don't want to say forced, but I could see how maybe some people might feel a lot of the inclusion felt like people who weren't from these groups just trying to appease
it in to pander to people. That's how I felt during that girl power moment in Endgame. And I bring it up all the time.
Right. And it's like, it's very much not a woman who wrote this moment, right? So I could see how that might feel a bit forced, annoying, pandering to people. Like, and I'm if I'm giving this guy the benefit, I know nothing about him.
Yeah, me neither.
Because he does not have a very long resume.
Right.
So if I were to give the benefit of the doubt, maybe I could understand when he says that, and it was just a really poor way of saying that. However, I think, and maybe for better or for worse, I don't know, Hudson Thames has been pretty quiet since that interview and has not apologized or even really commented on it at all. Which, on the one hand, okay, maybe don't put your foot in your mouth anymore. But also, like, if that's not what you meant,
clarify
that. You'll take the L with some people, but like, you know, if there's a legit like explanation for it. But if you're in your 30s,
I think he's 30, yeah.
Part of me is like,
you should know better.
You should know better. And
I, especially after hearing what the showrunner had to say, the showrunner, who is black, a lot of the creatives on this team are people of color.
Yeah.
A lot of the actors are people of color.
Even watching the first 2 episodes, we were like,
I was going to say, this is literally like Peter Parker and the BIPOC brigade. Like, his best friend is a gay Asian woman. And you're going to tell me that's not woke in the terms that these bigots use that word? That, compounded with this statement from the showrunner saying that he misspoke, compounded with your initial reaction to be kind-hearted and understanding, makes me think that that's exactly what happened. He meant to say it doesn't feel shoehorned, it doesn't feel forced, disingenuous.
Right.
But he didn't have the right words to say that, and instead, through probably a lack of media training, and maybe just from being like a white guy, just didn't know how to verbalize that, and just pulled the first thing he could think of, which was annoying and woke.
And listen, I sometimes, and this isn't me feeling too bad for white guys, but sometimes being a white guy, you don't know what not to say.
It's a lot. I feel like there's a lot to keep up with, and we are so submerged, encased in cultures, our own and different, that it's like we hear them all the time. We know what not to say, because like we have those direct influences. And if you don't have those direct influences, you didn't grow up like that, it's not as easy for you to navigate that as it changes.
Yeah.
All that to say, like you mentioned, this actor, and I think he's a musician, he has not been in a lot of stuff. I think he would benefit from media training to avoid something like this happening in the future, especially if he wants to continue as a Disney employee. Disney. Woke Disney. It's just a crazy thing to say. It was such unfortunate timing. And I know it turned a lot of people off from watching the show. People who were really excited for it were like...
So, like, Spider-Man, I mean, like... You look behind me, like, Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters in media, just like in general. And a lot of people feel that way because of just what he represents. And there's some weird idea, and how do I want to say this? I feel like a lot of older folks, well, and I say older meaning like my age, who may be like using, I'm just gonna say the Sam Raimi movies. Let's just say the Sam Raimi movies. You know, those aren't particularly conservative leaning movies. Again, based on just who Spider-Man as a character is. I feel like a lot of the toxic fandoms we see will use these movies as like a, you know, oh, this is my Spider-Man. And maybe nostalgia plays into a big factor of that. But like, I just think for some people, there's such a big fundamental misunderstanding of the character. But then you have all these people who do understand the character. And it's what makes this, I'm going to use the Spider-Verse movies as an example. Like those people who made those movies understand Spider-Man to such an extent that, I mean, sure, you'll have your one or two morons who just on principle won't watch the movie because, you know, it features a black Spider-Man, a black Hispanic Spider-Man. But across the board, pretty universally, those movies are loved because they get it.
Yeah.
Those movies feel authentically Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No matter how big the scope gets.
And there are like 30 Spider-Men in there.
Right.
Take your pick.
Right. So yeah, I agree. I think this guy would benefit. I don't know anything about him, other than he voiced Peter Parker in What If one time. And then got this role because of that. Like,
yeah, which is what a crazy privilege to have.
Right. And so
don't fuck it up.
Yeah, if Disney is already making their first, this is Disney's first Spider-Man series ever, because they didn't do the original, any of the animated stuff in the past. They have nothing. Well, I mean, they produced the MCU, Spider-Man movies,
right?
But like anything beyond that. So this is, but even that is in association with Sony. Right. This is their first. Like, this is their thing. Yeah. Which is really, really exciting. And it was just really disappointing, including me. Like, I was very, very disappointed to see this quote. And again, I really do hope that it was just a big, big foot in the mouth moment. I don't go into things wanting them to fail.
And I don't want to think of people as malicious. Like, I don't want to believe that he purposefully like said something mean about people who look like us.
Granted, yeah, and granted, like I don't know why I said granted that first time, but and like granted, maybe he may have not considered things before. I would love to think, working on a show like this, even just based on the first 2 episodes, with the people he's worked with, maybe some of that stuff could either be unlearned or maybe just learn more about it before he speaks so openly on it. And I know some people turned away from the show. We did watch it because, one, of what we do here. But also my thing is there are lots of people who did work on the show that you mentioned, creatives and actors and animators and just so many people that I'm like...
It would be so unfair to them to let one guy's foot in the mouth quote make me not watch their work. You know what I mean? Because
if at the end of it, they're like, if for season 2, if we get a season 2, we're replacing the actor who plays Spider-Man. Like, okay, then great. If that's what happens, because this guy, let's just say worst case scenario, this guy doubles down, you know.
Which I don't think he will, because it's been so long. He didn't say anything. I think he was instructed not to say anything else.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I would love to think, and I'm going to I shouldn't, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I really do think that perhaps he just meant it wasn't a forced, disingenuous thing, that he feels like he's doing something good. Yeah. Because again, like we've said it over and over. I'm very much an optimist in general. That's just who I am. So I would like to always try and see the best in a scenario or the best in someone. So yeah, I really hope that that's what was going on.
I agree. So with that all out of the way, because that was like such a big thing before the show even premiered, that I feel like we had to talk about it a little bit more. And because I also kind of did, my mindset on the issue did change as we got more information, and you encouraged me to look at it differently and all that stuff, which is good. That's how it's supposed to work.
I mean, you can go right now. If you look on TikTok, I also had a pretty you know, immediate reaction to it.
Right.
And then I stopped and thought, after you pointed out that I said something, I decided to think of it that way again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so again, and if hopefully it comes out and it's all good.
Yeah. But it did kind of influence the way we went into the first 2 episodes, unfortunately. Like, it couldn't not. But the first 2 episodes came out. We did sit and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about the first 2 episodes? Or should we go episode by episode?
I think we can give a general overview real quick. I think, and this is, we are admitting to this now, and I can only speak for myself, but I think we are kind of in agreement. There is a lot of the show I liked. I think I might have been influenced by that negativity that had just happened the night before is when I found out, at least. So I do think that I was still in like a mindset of like that immediate like disappointment, just being a little upset by the whole thing, which I know might sound like, oh, you're just being a baby, you know, whatever.
It's really hard to learn something like that and then like erase it from your mind. Like, right. You can't not.
When so much of the time that things that are said like that are directly against people that look like us is, it's hard to not take that and be upset when it's on such a grand level, especially about something we were excited about. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to like the first 2 episodes a little bit more. I didn't hate them. But I do think that this is one that's gonna, it was very much first episode vibes, like it's
establishing.
Right. A lot of it is because this is kind of an origin story, finally, in the MCU. Not that, we needed it, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's a new take, and I did want to like it a little bit more than what I did. Yeah. There are still things I liked a lot about it, but I thought they were okay.
I'm in agreement with you. I think I turned to you after the second one and I was like, it was okay. I do like the second episode a lot more than the first. I didn't look into any like synopsis of the series or anything like that. I don't want to know. I want to go into it as fresh as I can. I didn't realize it was going to be an origin story. I'm so sick of Spider-Man origin stories. It was so refreshing to not have to sit through one last time. Or if you're going to give me an origin story, give me something different. Well,
I see. This is where I kind of didn't mind it, or even enjoyed it a little bit. Was that I liked that it was a familiar origin story, but I liked that
certain details were different.
I like that they spiced it up a little bit. So like, although I still maintain that a spider from another universe has already kind of been done.
We're cutting it pretty close.
Cutting it really close.
And also, it's like that spider just. It just came out of that. I like what? Why was it in whatever room?
Hey, listen. When you got Doctor Strange just jumping universe, I'm not gonna question how Spider got through.
Yeah. So yeah, I did think the first episode was a little bit slower to get into than the second episode. I will say again, this is not a review of the entire series.
No.
Only the first 2 episodes are out. We have such limited information. I think what I was looking for that it lacked was comedy.
Yeah.
It's not super funny. I have an issue with Spider-Man's Peter Parker's voice actor, partially because of all that other stuff, right? I can't eliminate that from my head totally. But also, I felt like I was getting exactly what he was hired for What If? A Tom Holland impersonator. That's what it felt like. I was watching a Tom Holland impersonate Tom Holland for 2 episodes.
Right.
Tom Holland is such a talented actor that won't work.
Right.
I felt like there was an opportunity to get maybe a voice actor with more of a comedic background.
Yeah.
To do like improvisation or something to make it feel more realistic to Peter Parker.
Right.
And more funny. It just wasn't very funny.
Yeah, I agree. And that said, I'm a pretty boisterous laugher. And there were some moments that did make me chuckle and chortle. I won't lie. But yeah, I agree. I think when you're thinking of the MCU Spider-Man stuff, those movies are essentially comedies.
Right.
Right. So I think this could have benefited more from that. And again, I do support and like that we're getting a new take on Spider-Man, specifically set within the MCU adjacent. But yeah, I think it's, if you're gonna keep him in high school, we need some of that quirky comedy back.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know. It almost felt at times a bit dramatic. For some of the, maybe not with Peter himself, but with I don't know.
I also think that again, because there are so many people of color characters of color, we're exploring stuff that, at least in like Marvel Spider-Man history, we haven't explored.
Yeah. So anyway,
but it's like serious stuff because it's not fun.
Which I think is fine, but I think you have to find that balance. And yeah, I agree. And again, maybe it's just because it's the first 2 episodes.
I'm really hoping that it like, if like, kind of like when you start a new job and you're like rusty, and as you get to know the position a little bit better, you get better and better at it. Like maybe this was just like nerves and trying to feel the relationships and the connections for all the characters, and then as we go it'll get better and better and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I will say they have a tougher task than we think they might, because in the MCU we haven't had a Harry Osborn. We've sort of had a Norman Osborn, but even that wasn't our Norman Osborn. So there's a lot of these characters that people just don't know. So I think they have a tough task at introducing all of these characters. And I think that's what's making it feel a little slow right now.
Yeah.
So now that we've got some setup happening,
we can get into it now.
Right.
I will say the end of episode 2, I'm like, girl, what the hell?
That was a nice little twist.
What the hell's gonna happen? I also think that they're like benefited in name recognition, but also plagued by, you're Peter Parker, but you're not that Peter Parker, or that Peter Parker, or that Peter Parker.
Right.
Like, you have to be a new, different Peter Parker. And
right.
Again, you're a Tom Holland impersonator, basically. So good
right.
luck with that. So, I mean, that can't be easy to navigate either. Something I will say in light of Black History Month, happy Black History Month, everybody.
Happy Black History Month.
What the fuck are we doing with Norman Osborn's hair? Listen, I know in the comic books he has waves. Canonically, he has waves. The waves in the comic book and the rows of crops he has on his head in this series, it's like there's a wave and then they shaved like 2 millimeters from his hair, and then another wave, single wave, 2 millimeters stripe. What the hell are we doing? They had the opportunity to do good waves. It doesn't need to be 100% comic book accurate waves. Accurate. I meant to say it like that.
I don't know how waves work. I know some folks put a do-rag on.
It's just like, I've kind of got big waves. This is a 2-strand twist out for my melanated people. But like, it's like, you see how my hair is like, do. So you press that down so the waves are all throughout your head. You got to keep it like locked down tight. Can't get frizzy or anything. You could draw waves better is what I'm saying. And they didn't, and I'm mad about it. And what a severe widow's peak.
I will say, for me, the Osborns there, some of the stuff I actually like more about these episodes, specifically Norman Osborn. That's a cold motherfucker right there.
And I think that they're aiming to have him be like not so evil.
I don't think that, but
I thought I heard something where they're like, you're gonna be contemplating whether or not. I'm looking at pictures of his waves again. I'm so upset. They're horrible.
I will say I agree. I think episode 2 was a big step up.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, episode 1, it was fine. I think both these episodes were fine. I think episode 2 kind of felt a lot like they knew more about the story they were telling.
Yeah.
So I know it just sounds like we're ragging on it. It's not that. I am excited to see where the season goes. Again, I love the character. I actually really like the animation style overall.
I think the animation is a lot of people were worried about that before this interview came out. That was like the big thing that people were most worried about. I think it looks really cool. I love the moments that they're able to do like split screen, like split cells. Sorry, my mic was covering the camera. I think that's really cool. And again, it's like you have an animated series, but it can't look anything like the Spider-Verse stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have to be separate, but still interesting.
And it also doesn't look anything like What If, which it would have been super easy for them to just take a style they've been doing already.
Yeah.
But no, they really leaned into the comic book aesthetic, and I think it works. And it looks completely different than Spider-Verse,
which is also the comic book aesthetic.
Right. It feels a lot like Archie or Archer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting as I was watching it, which seeing it in movement, even the fighting, like this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like they're doing some cool shit. I also really, really love how they're weaving in some of the MCU parallels. So like they recreated the entire shot of when we first meet Peter Parker in Civil War.
Song and everything. And, you know, just when we think we're going to see Tony Stark, it's Norman Osborn instead. Spoiler. You guys should have already seen. You guys should have already.
If you're watching this, that's a spoiler. That's the only spoiler I'll drop.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like showing the parallels and then subverting your expectations, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, so I did like that, and it'll be cool to see how much more of that we get.
Yeah.
And there's also this isn't spoilers because this has already been previously announced. One of the earliest casting announcements for this show was actually Charlie Cox returning as Daredevil. So I'm excited to see how he fits in all this. I know Spider-Man and Daredevil have crossed paths many times in various iterations of the comics, so that'll be cool to see.
And in the MCU.
Yeah. So that'll be cool to see how that all comes into play.
I also like all of this talk of wokeness. I also really like the fact that Peter's school is so diverse.
Yeah.
I was worried after that quote came out. I'm like, oh man, are they like? I knew that the Osborns were black, but I was like, is that it? Like, is that all the representation we're gonna get?
Right.
And I was really pleasantly surprised to see how realistic to like a school in New York City would look like.
Yeah. And even taking Spider-Man out of Midtown is also not something I was expecting. If we were gonna keep him in high school, I mean that's his school. That's what he's known for. So that was also interesting. Yeah, I don't hate everything coming out of the show. I don't hate anything in the show right now. Like I said, I think as far as how much did I like the episodes right now, as of right now, I think the story's okay, but a lot of stuff in the show and like around the story, I do really, really like so far.
Yeah. I think it's a bittersweet thing to have like the first two episodes not meet our expectations, but I think that only means that from here it's more likely to get better and we'll find more enjoyment as we keep going.
Right.
I also will say the end of episode 2 and where the spider went after it bit Peter, I'm pretty excited to see those items resolve.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's piquing my interest and we will continue to watch it. If you were kind of on the fence about watching it, maybe take in everything we said, our review, and earlier how we mentioned, like, there are so many other people who worked on this.
Yeah.
Don't let one person's possible it was quoted correctly, affect the rest of the people who
worked really hard on this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I agree, but we'll keep watching, and we'll keep bringing you what we think of it, just in case you don't want to check it out, but you want to kind of hear what it's about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think just give it some consideration. Anyway, and that's all the promotion we'll do for you, Disney, until you cut us that check. Woo! Anyway, moving right along. So we kind of we used to, in the very early days of Perez Periódico.
Don't try to find it.
Huh?
Don't try to go back and find any of our early days videos. They're horrible.
They're not good. I don't think they're the worst, but they're definitely not good. However, we did used to do this series within the show where we would watch stuff that maybe one of us had seen. Usually I'd seen it and Kendra would have watched it for the first time, or I would have watched it for the first time. Now we stopped doing that because I don't know, we just kind of stopped. There was no real reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, So this is your first. This is the reboot, the requel of Revisited for the first time.
Yes.
Sort of.
Kind of.
So recently we've been watching the John Wick flicks, the John Wick movies.
The Wickiverse.
Spider-Man Into the Wickiverse.
Yes.
And we recently watched John Wick 1 to 3. Now, the reason why I say this is revisited is because I've at least seen chapters, 1 and 3 for some reason.
Never 2.
Didn't watch 2. Kendra had only seen chapter 3.
I hadn't seen any of them.
You did because you were there. Maybe
I
you
was
were
there. I did not watch it.
Oh, okay. So
because my dad randomly was like, everyone okay with watching John Wick 3? And we were like, we haven't seen the first. And he was like, okay. And he put on John Wick 3.
So, yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, I had seen the first John Wick when it came out years and years and years ago. And then John Wick 3 years and years ago when it came out.
But we haven't seen John Wick 4.
Yeah. So I said we're in John Wick's chapters 1 through 3.
I know you breezed past it though. Just want to ensure for everyone like.
So we'll come back and revisit it again. But I figured now's a good time to just check in about it and talk about it. What did you think of the Adventures of Mr. Wick?
Here's the thing with John Wick. I have never seen anything Keanu Reeves has been in until Sonic 3.
Really?
Really. I haven't seen The Matrix. I haven't seen Bill and Ted's Super Cool Adventure or whatever.
Sweet November?
I don't know what that is. I don't know. You might have just made that one up, actually. But no, so in my head, I'm like, I know he's like a cool dude.
You saw that movie he did on Netflix where he played himself. Always Be My Maybe.
He was in that.
He was.
I don't count that, and neither should you.
I do. That was a good movie.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, I know that this is like an important actor. A lot of people love them. My mother loves him. I will probably enjoy this series of movies. Now, we watch a bunch of the Corridor Digital YouTube series. Like they do
like VFX Artist React.
And more fun, stuntmen and women react. I saw part of the first John Wick movie through that show, through Stuntmen React. They were going through that first scene of him in his house in the first one.
Yeah.
When he was being like ambushed and he was just shooting a bunch of people. As he's one to do.
As we've learned.
And it was all about like the choreography of that and like the effects of that. Maybe it was a VFX Artist React. They actually might have done more than one on the same part. But I remember being like, man, that looks really fucking cool.
Right.
And the first movie was like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. So I think one day I was just like, do you want to watch this? Like it was on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I was like, should we just watch this? And you were like, sure.
I remember liking it. Let's do it.
And then it's very funny watching them back to back to back, as they did not intend for that. They did not want people to watch them back to back to back, because the first one to the second one, very clearly they're making a story up as they go along, because they were like, we're not going to get a second one. And then a third one, and then a fourth one. So it was like really fun seeing them kind of like create this universe like on the fly,
right,
as we're going. I also think it's really interesting. It's kind of got like it's kind of mafia-esque. It's kind of spy-y.
Right.
So I don't watch a lot of that kind of stuff either. So yeah, it was fun. I'm very pleasantly surprised by how much I like John Wick. I hated seeing that dog die. Yeah. As did John Wick. Man, he has such a rough fucking life.
Listen.
Poor John. Poor Baba Yaga.
They kept asking him if he was back, and he said, yeah, I think I am back.
Yeah. He's like, looks like I'm going to have to be.
Yeah, it's one of those movies, especially the first one. It's got like a lot of cool, like, oh, that's kind of cool the way they did that. Like, just story-wise, like, oh, that would be interesting. A hotel full of like assassins and whatever. I'm with you. I am convinced whoever sold that script was not thinking, not only will someone buy it, there's no way there's going to be a franchise out of it. I am convinced that they were like, oh shit, people like this movie. People really like this movie.
We got to figure some stuff out.
We got to make a new. We have to do a sequel.
Yeah.
And then everyone liked that one. And they're like, well, fuck, we got to do a third one. I got to do a fourth one.
I also do get the vibe that Keanu Reeves really loves doing them.
I think so too. Although he did say recently, I don't know if I have another one in me.
He's an old man.
He's getting up there.
He's not super old, but like I also think he's doing a lot of that stuff himself.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
I'm sure if they throw enough money at him, he'll be okay with doing it. But yeah, it is funny because all of a sudden this movie that was very secretive and like the inner workings of all of these assassins and these mafia groups and whatever, all of a sudden from 1 to 2, there was such world building that
like
made
this organization that oversees everything and they're in charge of everything.
It like made just enough sense for that to be a thing, but it's just like it gets more and more ridiculous. It's like, and I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like I'm convinced all of New York City is just a hub for Under the Table or whatever, because like you've got the Russian ballet there that they're all assassins that train John Wick or whatever, and then you have all of the homeless people who are actually part of another underground collective.
It's like Lawrence Fishburne is here.
Lawrence Fishburne's here.
It's like
Kevin Nash was there. Like
that's true. They're playing everything so like deadly serious, but when you're you're like outside looking in, it is all kind of ridiculous. But that's what makes it so fun. Like it's so fun to just jump into that John Wickiverse.
Those movies are good. I have not disliked chapters 1 through 3.
Yeah,
they're really good. And not only do they have the movies, because we also have chapter 4. We got from the universe of John Wick, that ballerina movie that's coming out. We have the Continental series. Like they've made a lot of John Wick content in a very short amount. It's only been, I think, 10 years.
Yeah.
Over the course of 10 years.
Let me see when the first John Wick came out.
I think it was 2014. I'm pretty sure.
John Wick.
The Baba Yaga.
Click.
2014.
2014. But did you know that there's also a John Wick comic book?
Doesn't
from
surprise me.
2017 to 2019.
That's pretty cool.
There's John Wick Chapter 2, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Suddenly we have bylines or whatever.
Yeah.
John Wick Chapter 4, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. And The Continental, From the World of John Wick. So
yeah.
We say Wickiverse, they say From the World of John Wick.
Yeah.
Payday 2 John Wick video game from 2014.
What?
John Wick Chronicles from 2017. John Wick Hex from 2019.
These video games?
Video games.
That's pretty cool.
It's truly like, that's crazy.
And I'm telling you, the script, and I'm not criticizing the script. The script from the first John Wick, it feels borderline generic. Like, I'm convinced the same thing happened with Taken, the movie. Have you ever seen Taken with Liam Neeson?
I have.
I'm convinced that the first one became very popular by accident. Well, they also had a bomb ass trailer. That's like one. I think that's one of the best trailers of all time. Is the original Taken trailer?
I don't remember it.
It's the phone call. It's the phone call.
It's iconic.
I will find you and I will kill. Chef's kiss. So, yeah. I think, and that movie also got very popular based on the first one. I do think that those movies did the opposite, where they got worse as they went on. But these movies they're really good. They're very fun. I think they're really good. I really, really, really love Chapter 3, Parabellum. I thought that one has been the most fun so far.
It's just him. It's just a man running for his life.
For his like truly running all over the world.
Yeah.
And
I've also been having a lot of fun with them. I am excited to watch the fourth one. We just have to figure out where to watch it. The first
we might
three,
have to just rent it.
Yeah, the first 3 are on Disney Plus, easy access.
Disney Plus and Hulu.
Yeah. I will also say on the John Wick Wikipedia page, there is 2 untitled projects. One is a untitled Kane film.
Like Kane from WWE?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what this means. But there's also an untitled animated prequel film, apparently in development, that is anime style.
Oh, that makes sense.
which makes so much sense. Yeah, there's just like there's a lot possible in the John Wickiverse, and I'm glad that I'm jumping in when I am. Maybe we'll have to watch the Continental series.
And I think that's on Peacock. I think.
I wonder how many.
That's a Peacock original.
Is it still going on? Do you know?
I don't know if it's a like a mini series, like a limited series. But I think it's a prequel series for the Winston.
Oh no.
What?
We actually can't watch this.
Why?
Mel Gibson is in it.
Oh.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. 3 episodes.
Mel Gibson, really?
In 2023.
Mel Gibson's in it?
Mel Gibson as Cormac O'Connor, who runs the Continental of New York during the 70s.
Huh.
Boo.
Hey, guys, Mel Gibson?
That guy fucking sucks.
Fuck that guy.
That guy sucks.
And I don't want to hear any, but he's such an artistic mind. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, but you just said for Spider-Man not to let one person ruin the
No.
Listen.
Mel Gibson has made more of a career being fucking racist and misogynistic.
Yeah.
And anti-Semitic. I don't, no, yeah.
We're skipping that one.
That's all intentional.
Well, it feels like a lot of people also skipped out on that one because they had 3 episodes and that's it.
It probably just was this 3-part, like a 3-part event or whatever. Whatever. I'm sure we're not missing out on much.
But it's interesting. I thought it was set during the time of John Wick, but it's not.
No, it's like
a prequel.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll be all right.
We'll be fine without it. I know where it ends.
Yeah, truly.
But yeah, so that's been very fun. Don't spoil us on John Wick Chapter 4, which came out like last year.
Yeah. Listen, we're
fine.
We're doing our best. But yeah, I'm very excited. We've been our New Year's resolution was to watch more movies, right? Mm-hmm. And as opposed to watching stuff that's newly coming out, we're like, oh, what stuff we've wanted to watch? Yeah. There's a few franchises out there that we're always like, we probably like that.
Yeah.
Just based on everything else we like, but haven't watched it yet. So
we caught up on Sonic.
We didn't watch Knuckles.
We didn't watch Knuckles, but we caught up on the Sonic movies.
It's true. And those were, again, very fun. I like them all.
Sonic, John Wick. 2 sides of the same coin.
Corn? The same thing. The same thing happened when we watched John Wick. I'm like, man, John Wick as a character, he's fucking cool. Like, he's just, he knows all these, he does all this. He's like, they literally call him the fucking boogeyman. He's the Baba Yaga. Like,
that is fucking cool.
And he's just being a badass motherfucker.
And he's rich.
He's like, I wanted my car back. I really don't care if this car gets wrecked again. It's the principle. You steal from me, I'm coming after you.
Out of his car. John Wick is cool, and Shadow is cool, and Neo is cool. And what's the connecting tissue there?
Mr.
Keanu Reeves is fucking cool. He can't help it.
But he also seems like such a nice, like a sweet guy.
He seems so nice.
But yeah, I'm like, man, he's so fucking cool.
Effortlessly cool.
Where's that suit? Like, he didn't have to wear a suit to do some killing, but he does.
His fresh bob all the time. Good for him.
He hasn't named his fucking dog yet. I think he's afraid. Of naming his dog.
He is afraid to name the dog.
The last time his dog had a name, that dog died.
It wasn't even. Here's the thing. People were saying, like, the dog dies. It was a puppy. It was a baby.
I do love that they were constantly like, do you... In the first one,
yeah,
it was my favorite. Just like everyone knew who John Wick was.
They're like,
and they were all like, "Fuck,
you killed his dog, John Wick."
And then the second one, they're just like, "You see what he did over a dog and a car?
Yeah.
Why are we fucking with him?"
John Wick is so fucking cool.
He's so cool. Like, so yeah. As long as they make those movies, I'll be happy. If they want to continue it as an anime, that'd be fucking cool.
As long as Keanu's in my ear, I'm fine.
Wake the fuck up, samurai.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. It's time to shoot some people.
Oh, there's a dog that needs saving, samurai. He also stole a dog in the first movie. I think not enough people talk about that. He did steal a dog at the end.
Yeah. We you know what? We didn't get clarification on if that was a shelter or if that was just a vet's office where someone who loves their dog very much dropped off their dog to have like emergency surgery.
I do love that in the third one, in chapter 3, the dogs got in on the action. That's fun.
True. That was cool.
Yeah, that whole scene, there was like a whole 10-minute sequence. Halle Berry just being absolutely incredible.
Badass with
just
her badass dogs.
Super hot. Oh, wait.
You're right.
Yeah, okay.
You're not wrong.
But also, yeah, just this badass fight scene with her and her dogs. At one point, I was like, Keanu Reeves hasn't even been on screen for the last like 3 minutes.
Yeah, he was fucking lagging behind. That's
he's fighting the one guy, and here these dogs are like tearing up the house.
Yeah. Me, Bustelo, and Keo.
Truly, that's your next Halloween costume. The dogs got they had their little bulletproof vests on.
Yeah, came in handy.
Listen, I would have been terrified to be one of those stuntmen working with those dogs. The dogs looked very sweet until they were fighting, and then they were biting.
I really liked the dogs.
I know, they were very cute, but holy shit. One of them jumped up a wall.
That's true.
And that, I'm like, you can't, the dog's not going to let you harness it like that and just drag it up without it looking freaked out. That dog jumped on someone's back.
The dog did that.
The dog jumped on someone's back.
Not someone, Halle Berry's.
Halle Berry's back and just jumped up a wall to bite someone.
The dog said,
That's fucking cool.
The dog said, what, like it's hard? I do this all the time. It's actually what I was trained to do. And I make more money than you. And
he's a fucking dog.
And he's a dog. And he's talking.
We named the dog Indiana.
We named the monkey Jack. Anyway.
So we'll let you know how our journey into the Wickiverse, the John Wikipedia-verse, John Wicked.
Oh, crossover.
Something has changed within me, samurai.
It's not even John Wick. Although Johnny Silverhands is basically just John Wick.
This is John Wick with silver hands. His name is Johnny. Johnny Silverhands? Are you kidding me?
Can y'all hear my typing?
Oh my god.
I hope so.
We're not streaming.
I meant just in the YouTube comments. Let me know. Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That's what Johnny Silverhand is from. But why?
If you have any questions about Cyberpunk, I don't have an answer for you.
Well, first of all, Johnny Silverhand's name is Robert John Linder, famous and influential rocker boy and lead singer of the band Samurai before its breakup in 2008. Why does he have such like a long backstory?
What the fuck are we talking about?
but this was Keanu Reeves, right?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if maybe it just looked like Keanu Reeves.
No, it was him.
Okay.
Well, that's our thoughts on John Wick Chapters 1 through 3 Parabellum. Very excited to continue our journey into the Wickiverse and let you guys know. Again, we weren't intending on doing a Revisited for the first time.
No. Because
it's been like 2 years since we've last done one. But I've liked watching them and figured we could spice things up on Ringside here a little bit.
Yeah.
We are excited for a couple movies coming out. We won't talk a whole lot about it, but excited for Love Hurts.
Mm-hmm. That comes out this weekend, right?
Yeah, the weekend that you're listening to this, yes.
Yeah.
So that looks like a lot of fun. And Captain America Brave New World.
Obviously, we're very excited for that one.
Yeah, so.
The trailers have impressed me so far. You guys know I'm really hard on trailers because trailers are just the first 10 minutes of the fucking movie. I also think that we will, because Super Bowl's next weekend.
Is it?
The Super Bowl's the 9th?
I don't give a fuck.
The big game.
I don't give a fuck.
It's on a Sunday. It's the 9th.
Super Bowl Sunday, yeah.
Big
game Sunday.
Big game Sunday. The 9th, the weekend before Captain America comes out.
Yeah.
I think we will be getting a lot of teasers and trailers. I think we might be getting a Fantastic Four teaser. Some people are saying that might come on February 4th.
I think they'll give us like a teaser on the 4th.
Like a teaser of the teaser?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But I also know that they just started filming that not that long ago. Whatever footage...
Aren't they done filming?
I thought they just started.
No, I think they're done. I think. It comes out this year.
Yeah, but later, right? July.
No, I think they're done with principal photography.
Huh. Okay. Then yeah, well maybe we'll get like a full teaser then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do anticipate that. And who knows what else we're going to get. We'll probably get something Superman related.
I think so, yeah.
And I don't know any other movies
Thunderbolts.
that are coming out. Maybe Thunderbolts, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we got some news or some teasers for some other things, but I think those are the...
Blade? Please.
That'd be fucking crazy. Donald Trump, if you can hear me, please give me a trailer for Blade. Actually, never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Not about Blade.
I figured. There's only one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade.
That's a good movie.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, I think we have possibly a lot to look forward to.
And all the AI commercials. The
AI commercials. But we also will have a Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Very excited. Oh my god.
Listen, Kendrick Lamar, halftime.
It's going to be good.
This is going to be the nail in the coffin. I mean, I guess not in terms of court dates, but I think Drake will be done battling here. Also, right before it, man, Dr. Dre recently just came out and was like in support of Not Like Us and of Kendrick, and was like, yeah, as soon as I heard Drake talk about his family and kids, I said, adios. I'm like, damn, you got one of the biggest producers of all time who just said, never mind to you.
Yeah. I mean,
what a rough go of it.
It wasn't looking good for Drake from the jump.
Yeah.
So I think this will either be the official end of the conflict, at least interpersonally, maybe not lawyer to lawyer, but there's also a possibility that it reignites the beef.
Anyway, but we'll let you know when that happens.
We're eating good either way, folks. But yeah, I can tell you're very sleepy.
Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up for us here on Ringside. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hey, if you're not already doing it, go follow us on all the various social medias. I said this before. We never know when any of them are going to just up and go away. Yeah. So please follow us on all the things, on all the places. That way you can keep up to date with anything and everything we've got going on, including pre-preview, which we did actually stream earlier on this day that we recorded this episode. We do them every month for the WWE PLEs. So we make our predictions. We chat with people in the chat. Mm-hmm. And it's usually a really good time. So come through, join us for that. And just, like I said, follow us on wherever you listen to podcasts, right, or watch them. We do stream on all the major platforms. So check us out there. We have I think 40 something other episodes of Ringside you could be listening to. I would maybe stay away from numbers 1 through 25. They're probably not very good. Yeah. But hey, what are you going to do? I
gotta start somewhere.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, kid.
Oh.
You follow me, I'll take you all the way to the top.
Who the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Smoker.
Gotta come up with a name. Give me a hat, come up with a name for him. Oh. Maybe that's what we should start doing characters on the show.
No. Well, because here's the thing, I'm not good at accents like you are. You can do a new character every week. And maybe I will.
Welcome to Ringside with Dimitri and Kendra.
Oh my God. What a show off. He's just showing off all these accents he can do.
Welcome to Ringside with Kermit and Kendra.
He made me in his own image.
Oh my, who is that? You've done a better meatwad.
What? Give me a meatwad.
He made me in his own image.
He made me in his own image.
Yeah, there it is.
That's meatwad.
There it is.
The only one I can do, folks.
All right, we got to get the fuck out of here. Thank you all, and we'll take it off for the next one. Oh my God. Peace.